episode of Stu and the Nunn, an online radio show and podcast focused on national security, policy, politics, and selfless service. We're here to give you an honest opinion, different perspective, and hopefully a few laughs. We do this by not only interviewing guests, but also sharing our own perspectives and asking you, the listener, to interact with us on our chat room, via our Facebook page, and of course, on Twitter. Keep it funky.
All right, everyone, welcome. We had some weird audio stuff going on here. I do not know that the opening music probably did not sound normal. It didn't sound normal to me. I was trying to troubleshoot that here on the fly. But hey, we would not be Stu and the Nunn if
Bush League.
we didn't have Bush League going on. Hey, Toby, how you doing?
Oh, living La Vida Loca down here in Mexico, in Cabo San Lucas. Just living my dream, man. Living my best life. Enjoying all good days. No bad days is good. What's the haps? I noticed you have an ostrich on your shirt.
I do.
Is it allegedly?
It is allegedly. There we go. That's it. Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
And I was educating one of my customers today about that. I was on a Zoom call with one of my federal customers. I'll just say that. And he was like, dude, what's up with the emu? I'm like, no, it's an ostrich. And he's like, what's up with that? And I say, here, watch this YouTube link. And I'm like, then go to Hulu and spend your entire weekend binge watching a show. I'm like, that's what it's about. So he's like, oh, okay.
Imagine they're probably coming out with a show, like a new series season pretty soon.
Season 10 comes out December 26th in the U.S., December 25th in Canada, December 26th in the U.S. on Hulu. So, yes.
Feliz Navidad, Canada.
They are also still filming seasons 11 and 12. They're doing all three back to back. So, yeah, they're spooling
Look at
it
them.
up. Yeah.
Dollar bills.
That's it.
A great show. We're talking about Letterkenny for all you folks out there. Letterkenny on Hulu. It's a great show, great Canadian humor. It's about the town of Letterkenny and its problems. It's awesome. But man, it's great to see you. It's great to talk to you. I feel like I've been living in a cave of happiness. I'm in Willy Wonka. I'm in like the tunnel of fun right now, where y'all are dealing with crazy stuff up there, mandates and weirdness.
How's it feel to be in a different country? I'm looking at our audio only output, and it's giving me concerns that we have something not going right. Sorry. It is going. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we got some weird stuff going on. Oh crap! All right. Well, that's not good. No, there's all kind of stuff going on. It is a circus, and I just like it is when have been overseas, and you come back into the U.S. or even if you're just overseas for a little while, and you just look at the news and be like, what has happened? And I guess it's kind of like when you're here every day, you don't realize it. Like when you're around your kids every day, you don't realize how quick and big they're growing. And then you're away for a little while and come back, and you're like, how'd you get so big? Well, you're away from your country for a little while. You come back, you go, how did you turn into that much more of a shithole already? All right. So that's kind of what's going on. I'm going to stop our audio track, Toby, and turn that back up just to get that fixed. If you want to chat for a little bit.
Word.
Because it is not acting properly. Yeah, but yeah, they're definitely not going. Are you chance to watch the news down there at all, or have you been pretty kind of blind?
I've been pretty sheltered here, to be quite honest. It's the busiest season down here in the sport fishing world. All the big money tournaments have been going on or are going on, and so my days are pretty fishing oriented, but I'm catching little snippets here and there. People will mention something. Most of the people that are fishing down here are American, and they're happy to voice news from home. So I've got a little bit, and I've had a moment or two of internet research, if you will. But the one of the things that I'm kind of curious about, so maybe I can get educated through this, is the current administration are someone made it sound, and I'm looking at a Fox link. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but uh, offering money to people that were separated under the last administration's zero tolerance policy on illegal immigration.
Did you think you were reading a Duffel blog or Babylon Bee for a second?
Yes, because like one, the number's ridiculous. It's almost $500,000. It's like 450,000. It looks like
per adult. So if both parents are if both parents are separated, guess what? That's 450 times 2.
Yeah, so like knocking on the door of $1 million for a family.
Which, by the way, Toby, fun fact, is more than the families of the victims of 9/11 got. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm like, so there's so much with this that, like, I just don't understand.
Do you feel like you woke up in a twilight zone? Do you feel like this?
Yeah, like I for those listening and who don't know me, I'm an immigrant. And I've kind of had to work hard to be in the U.S. I did it legally, and I served our country to do that. So like I kind of feel like for everyone that's done the right thing, this is a huge slap in the face. Like you deliberately, knowingly broke these nations' law. And it doesn't matter who put the law up. It was the law of the land. You willingly and knowingly broke it. And now you're going to be rewarded for that.
Handsomely rewarded.
Yeah. I just don't understand. Like, there's a lot of things going on right now that I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand why, the IRS wants to track transactions of over $600. I mean, like, I've got dinner bills that are over $600. So like, I got grocery bills that are over $600. Like, I just don't understand, like, why the current administration are weaponizing its institutions to attack its people. And then in addition to attacking its, law-abiding citizens, it's financially rewarding its non-abiding non-citizens. I am perplexed. I just don't get it. Maybe I'm not understanding it right, but there's something significantly wrong with this scenario. And I just don't understand, like, how this is even possible. Like,
yeah, this one came out late today that they're proposing this, and I had people starting to hit me up, and I'm like, what? I really thought somebody fell for some satire site or something, right? And then it started hitting me from left, right, and center, and I was like, holy cow. This administration, literally, in a time in our country which gas prices are climbing higher than ever, shelves are truly bare everywhere, inflation is running rampant, every bad thing that could happen to a country economically is happening to us, and with the president that's been in office for 10 months. And the dollars you have, I mean, they're talking energy costs, natural gas prices going up 30% this winter. Farmers Almanac is calling for a very hard winter. It's going to be a heavy snow, hard winter, and all this stuff happening. And they're going to give almost $500,000 per adult that was separated from their family member under the Trump administration to illegal immigrants, people who broke the law. Toby, you and I've talked about it, right? We've talked about that every Thursday. We would come on the show and some crazy shit would happen, and we'd be like, it can't get any worse than this. We talked about this when Afghanistan happened. We've talked about it when the COVID, when he started mandating that every company over 100 had to vaccine their people, right? We've had time after time over the last few months that we've said, and I know we've talked about it, it's like, this scares me because every time we thought we've seen it all, what's coming next? Man, this is right up there, right? This is, you've got to be freaking kidding me. $1 million to a family because they got separated from their kids. I don't think it's going to go, but just to even think this.
I don't get it. I mean, like there's nothing that you can do to explain to me why the law-abiding American public, tax-paying American public, should be penalized. Because here's the thing: if this is like, well, I want to punish my political opponent, I want to create a better voter base for my demographics, or whatever it is,
right?
Like, cool, but you're not punishing the previous administration. You're punishing like your voter base, because they're the ones that pay taxes
and have to pay for this, right?
Yeah, you've already outspent our great grandchildren, and now you're going to add. Because at what point, this is a slippery slope. At what point do we then throw an amnesty to all those that illegally crossed under his watch?
Right.
Because all those people are going to be like, well, hey, like, I got separated too in the cages that you built the previous administration, like, to the one that they're being compensated for. So, like, where's my money?
Right.
I had it way worse in the detention center than any of these motherfuckers had it. Sorry about the language. Sorry, I apologize.
Sorry, Mom.
My bad. Like, I mean, the people that are being punished are the tax-paying American people.
The American people are going to. Here's the thing, though, Toby. We see it now with the school board stuff. We see it now with the critical race theory. We see it now with the parents that are, whose daughters are getting raped in school and they're standing up and having it. We're seeing now with probably the Virginia and New Jersey have a very good possibility of their governorships flipping to being Republican, to being red, right? Virginia, New Jersey. We see a president approval rating in the low 30s. Right at 10 months in.
Is that where it's at? I think
it's in the low. It's dropped even more, right? It's like 20. It's 29 to 31% amongst independents, right?
So is that historically one of the lowest approval ratings in the history of the United States presidencies? I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't know. Rob would probably tell us. I'm not sure. But it just depends on which one you're up. The Quinnipiac poll is one that's really been looked at a lot. But I mean, we're seeing the American people just aren't going to put up with this anymore. There's no way this is going to go through. Right now, the president's domestic agenda is falling apart. I mean, the guy just ran off to Europe with Pelosi reportedly got kicked out of a meeting today by a junior House member caucus, Jay Paul, or whatever her name is, kicked Pelosi out of a meeting. I mean, the Democratic Party is completely imploding right now. They have no direction. You got Al Sharpton complaining to the president that he's not giving Kamala Harris enough important duties and things to work on. I don't know. I thought the freaking southern border is pretty important to work on, but it's just. We are living. What's that? Was it not the Truman Show? We're living in some kind of Jim Carrey movie. I'm just not sure which freaky one it is. Right.
Oh, the movie that's coming to me is Idiocracy.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's Jim Carrey.
It's not Jim Carrey.
Owen Wilson,
but
it's. I mean, like, it's so fantastical. Like, when people tell me, some of these things, people talking about, like, Bill, and I saw a clip with Nancy Pelosi, like, being asked by a reporter where she confirmed, like, absolutely, we want to see every transaction over $600. And I'm like, how is, like, this lady standing in front of a podium saying that she wants people to look at her transaction? Here's a lady that's, made hundreds of millions of dollars being a politician, and let's not forget, they only make a couple $100,000 a year.
Hey, she's got more than $600. She's got more than $600 of ice cream in her freezer. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like, does she really want people snooping around in hers? It's mind blowing. Like, no, they're not going to look at me. And so it's very obvious that this is being weaponized. I saw the attorney general being, called in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee.
Oh, that was
and
brutal.
Senator Cruz and the Republic of Texas. I mean, he and this is on the record, and I get it. Ted Cruz, is really good at grandstanding. He's also good at asking a legitimate question. And it's like, you said, I quote, or here's the quote for the record of what you said. You would not do this. It's wildly inappropriate. And then you straight up sent this memo saying, do exactly that. It's obvious that the current administration is beyond power hungry. They're tyrannical. And if you say anything to the opposite, like, you're going to be penalized. I mean, like, just now I was afraid to use the word tyrannical because I'm like, man, I can't afford any heat on me in my life. So like, there's a couple of transactions in my life that, are greater than $600, like that, like, and that's just keeping it real.
Right. It's keeping it 100. Like, no, I mean, the Senate hearings yesterday.
I've been to Vegas.
Yeah.
I've been to Vegas. Like,
what that's going to mean, Toby, is people are going to put their money back in the mattress, right? They're just not going to trust the banks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
we're going back to cash.
Yeah. So yesterday I had to run an errand because it was my beautiful bride's birthday. I had to go out and get her a little something.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
And I was running out of the house, and I was like, I got a moment between meetings, so I was watching the Senate hearings. And I thought, this is pretty good stuff, right? Because Cotton was just ripping, right? Holly, when those guys were man, AG was on his heels the whole time. And so I was like, okay, I want to listen to this. So I get in my truck, turn on the Sirius, hit the Fox channel, and I'm like, I was like, this is kind of boring. I was going back and forth. Like, I'm going to listen to some music. Then they said, oh, up next, Senator Ted Cruz. I'm like, oh, no, stop. Because I listen to his podcast, and people can say whatever they want to him, but dude is one smart lawyer, and he knows how to do it. And I almost pulled over to the side of the road just to listen to him, and he approached it like it was a courtroom, going against the top cop, right? A guy who was almost nominated to be was going to be nominated to be in the Supreme Court, and he went up this. I mean, you know how to answer a question, yes or no. I mean, they just went back and forth, and it was just, he couldn't, he went on conflict of interest with his son-in-law. He went on one thing after another. He had his talking points ready, and it was just, I mean, you would think after a week after he was in front of the House subcommittee that the Attorney General would have his note cards ready and be ready for anything. But it was almost like the first time he'd been in front of him.
But here's the thing, and this is why myself, I speak only for myself, have zero faith in the system right now, because with everything that's happened, Afghanistan really opened my eyes on some things. People can stand in front of a podium and say whatever they want, and the truth comes out, and they get shown for the lying sack of crap that they are, and that it's all lies. In fact, it's the complete opposite of what they've said. There's no accountability. We watch people lie to Congress now on the regular. Back in the day, Barry Bonds misled Congress, and they held him in contempt and sent him to jail over baseball.
Right. Now you got Fauci with undeniable evidence now that he funded gain of function research, and he was explicitly asked a number of times by Senator Paul. And that dude denied and lied. And Paul said, you're lying. He knew. He said, you're lying. And nothing happened.
There's no consequence.
Right.
There's absolutely no consequence for anyone associated with this administration. And then if you want a consequence for someone in this administration, well, I mean, you're the worst human being.
Right. Well, the media after the Attorney General's Garland's testimony yesterday, right? All the left media came out yesterday and just, ripping into the GOP for how bad they treated him. It's like, did you forget the Kavanaugh hearings? Like, are you kidding me? Like, These senators asked
But that
about
was
these senators asked
but-
about a memo that he published in response to the National School Board
Right.
Association, who has since rescinded what they said. This dude doubled down on. They were asking about facts. They weren't asking about something that Garland did 20 years ago with a baseless accusation from some girl in high school.
which was proven to be a political scam.
Right.
But where's the accountability of that?
Right.
Where's the accountability of putting someone in front of congressional, confirmation hearings and defaming them? Like there's zero accountability.
Right.
It's really there's no culpability, and people just don't have faith because everyone knows that for the most part all the news is fake. And for you to really get down to the heart of what's really going on, you have to really do a bunch of research.
People don't have time for that.
Doing it.
No, they don't have time for that.
People aren't doing it. So people can stand in front of a podium and say the sky is green. And they're like, well, okay, it's exceptionally dark green today. It's almost forest, and you can't, there's nothing you can do about it. So it's really disheartening. And to see it really is, like you said, it's like Twilight Zone, bizarre world.
Right. It is. It's
lose you.
No, you're there. You're a little broken, but that's okay. No, it is that. And it's just as bizarre to see, the lack of accountability as much as it is bizarre to see us leave. Now the State Department comes out and says there's 300 something Americans in Afghanistan after all this time saying there's only 100. There's 50 to 100 that we think want to leave and stuff. Now they're saying there's over 300, almost 400 that they're admitting to that want to get out and they can't get out, right? Oh, don't worry. It's quieted down. The press has moved on to something else. Don't look at here. Look over there, right? Squirrel.
Yeah.
And
we promised we would go get them.
Yeah, and said we have senators, we have sitting congressmen and senators, right, that have rescued. We have the one from Oklahoma that went missing, supposedly was gone there for a while. We have one out of North Carolina that's saying that the reports are he's rescued 80. You and I are close to a number of people, from SaveOurAllies.org and other organizations, Pineapple Express, our good friend Scott Mann, that have all not only been active in getting people out of there when the collapse was happening, I don't know what else to call it except a collapse, but have been very active since then. I know I have been. I think you have been still active trying to get people out of there. I have friends of mine at work who were in the military over there that I work with who have Terps over there and have been actively engaged through friends of ours to get them out of there. I mean, but you have that and you think there's no way our country would have done that. There's no way we would have left $64 billion worth of equipment to all these things. I mean, it is just, I don't know, Toby, I'm having a little reflection here, but I look back at our time under the Trump administration on all the things that he said and did and happened. And I think a lot of us felt just astounded that this was happening, that he would say that he was being wiretapped by the administration, that he would make the accusations, that the things that happened, that the economy turned around and then COVID hit. And we thought, man, we've seen it all, just shock and awe through all that time. And the way he talked to people, and we were like, wow, he can get away with that, and he doesn't care, and everything like that. And now we see this, and we see a country that has been, in 10 months, has been taken back, I don't know how many years of progress, right? Financially, job market, stock market.
25, 30.
I mean, just destroyed in 10 months. And you have a president who whispers in the mic, like he did today. Shard was telling me I couldn't watch it. He's up there and he gets on. I looked up at the screen and he looks like he's just yelling at you, like he's a pissed off grandpa saying, "Get off my yard." And you have a vice president who cackles her way around the country and has to hire kids to act like they like her. And you're just like, who in the hell's running this country? How did the greatest country in the world, the greatest republic ever, democracy, turn into whatever the hell we've turned into in 10 months? And oh, by the way, that happened because 81 million people said they wanted it to happen. The greatest number ever. I don't know what to think, man. It is truly, I'm waiting for someone to wake me up. This can't be real.
Yeah. But at least we don't have mean tweets.
We don't have mean tweets, no.
Yeah.
Nope. But there's rumors of a new network coming out that came out
Oh,
last week. So there may be a whole new network coming out that social media network, media network, and everything like that may be coming out. We'll see what happens. That they hit the news. Some stock prices went through the roof, and it looks like the first quarter of 2022 is going to be an interesting one to see how that pans out. I just can't wait to see the State of the Union. Honestly, I'm excited. I'm
when
excited,
is that?
giddy. It'll be mid-January, around 20th, right? It's usually around the 20th.
Yeah.
I think January. It has to be done by 20th, I think. I'm excited to see
It's not one. It's not going to happen.
Well, will
It'll
it
be a
happen
letter.
will it happen at 8 o'clock
It'll
at
be a
night?
letter.
You probably just a letter. You from the basement,
It'll be a letter, because that's actually all it has to be, right?
right?
So legally, my understanding is, the president actually doesn't have
No, he doesn't.
to
He just
present
has
himself in
right.
front of Congress. He just has, or she, the person, the president, the office of the president, just have to present a letter
giving the State of the Union.
giving the State of the Union. And what typically happens is the letter is read out loud. But that's only happened since, I don't know, maybe Theodore Roosevelt. I don't know.
Right. Maybe
even
he'll
later.
just send a letter.
Maybe later
Nancy
than that. Yeah.
Nancy can read it, and then when she's done, just rip it in half, because that's like her thing now. She can just rip it in half,
Yeah.
drop it, and be like, "I'm out." Right? That's from the president, from the man, because he'll be asleep.
Yeah.
Right? There's no way that dude's doing 8 o'clock at night. Let's say pump him up
Yeah.
on some freaking No-Dos and Mountain Dew. Right? Is that
Right.
dude going to be awake? And maybe he'll do the State of the Union and be like, "The country's good. It's all good because you got your vaccine." I don't know what he's going to do, but anyways, it is crazy. But there is one shining light, Toby. There, every once in a while, and all this dismay, and we see all this crime that's unprosecuted, and people being let go, and everything like that. We see one crime that looks like it's going to happen, one crime that's going to get charged, and that is the former disgraced Democrat governor of New York, the Love Gov himself, Andy Cuomo, is going to be charged with a misdemeanor sex assault crime. Came out today. So the reports are, as you know, I live in the Northern Studio in New York, is that he will be arrested tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to do the perp walk in front of everybody. That would be awesome.
No, they won't.
No, they won't. They won't do it. They won't. They
do that.
throw him in cut. You don't think they're going to raid his house like they did down in Florida, like he did Trump's boys down there? They're not going to have the FBI and the dogs in the water behind, or the swimmers in the water. But that's the first of many. But
he'll get dropped off in an Escalade to some underground parking garage. He'll walk up a flight of stairs from the parking garage. He'll sign a document. They'll have a private, bail hearing, in some chambers, and then he'll walk back out.
Never see him. Camera crews just looking for a movement.
Yeah, and they'll just see some black Escalade or Lincoln or something with smoked out windows, drive by.
Yeah. Well,
no, they're not going to perp walk him. They're not going to do any of that.
No, they won't. I can only wish, but they won't. And but hopefully
he's only being charged, because of the crime, right?
Right. This is a crime.
If it was embezzlement, it wouldn't happen. If it was racketeering, RICO, it's not going to happen. They're not. The only reason he's getting clipped here is because of Me Too. Like, the only reason, and he's getting a misdemeanor. Let's be honest. Like,
well, this is the first though of many. There's many. He's got more on him, but yeah, at least it's something, right? It's like Smollett. Smollett, you tried to get his case thrown, and 2 weeks ago the judge said, "Nope, this stuff's going forward." Right? That dude tried to get his stuff thrown out too. So there's some hope there that justice truly is blind and will prevail. Because don't forget, people, this guy fake a hate crime, got everyone ramped up. All the way up to the Kamala herself. Commenting on it, and this guy is let's see what happens, but he wasted a lot of government time, resource, Chicago, but obviously a hate crime during the 2020 time frame is pretty significant because of just what was happening in this country. I mean, you might as well have just thrown freaking a gallon of gas on a burning fire of a cop car, right? It was just so we'll see, but yes, Cuomo was charged. And that's at least one step forward, right? Whether it ever happens, whether he pleads out or whatever, it just helps seal his fate a little bit more. So, yeah, that's another hot news. So,
in good news, like hockey started.
hockey did start.
Football's back on.
Football,
Like
my Bills are doing good. They're looking everyone.
sports. People are starting to like get back to normal. People are starting to behave in their old ways.
Not only is football back, Toby, but for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, college football has been packing stadiums to the max, right? You've probably seen some of those videos. They've been chanting, "Let's go Brandon," but not necessarily "Let's go Brandon." They have been, maxing out at whatever, 70, 80,000 people, and no super spreaders, no hot spots, and they got no mask, and they're just screaming at F Joe Biden and go whatever their favorite team is and everything else that they scream, and everything's going good. So college football has roared back and doing well. And
like it, people are, starting to see life for what it is. And, like I see it down here. People are willing to travel. People are willing to do stuff. And, like what you're finding is like virtue signaling, like I feel like I need to virtue signal this to you. And, you have some people in power, like trying to continue to maintain that power by, saying, if you don't agree with me, you're a bad human being. Like, if you don't want to wear a mask, well, you're obviously, selfish piece of shit. You don't want to get the COVID vaccine, or you're obviously a horrible human being. How dare you? Like,
actually, it's gotten a little bit worse than that, right? If you criticize, Fauci torturing dogs, all of a sudden it makes you anti-vax, right? He's the protected saint of the left right now, right? We got these reports, 44 dogs.
Dude had puppies' heads eaten by bugs.
After they did surgery and had their vocal cords removed because they didn't want to hear them scream and cry. I mean, can you get it any freaking worse? So 44 beagle puppies, they sit there and had their vocal cords removed, so they didn't have to listen to them scream and whelp and cry as their faces were eaten off by freaking sand fleas. But damn, if you criticize them, the left comes after you because somehow that makes you anti-vax, right? They don't get it. It's not anti-vax. It's anti-vax mandate, and that has nothing to do with you torturing dogs, because beagle lives matter.
No, like I gotta tell you, man, like the dog thing disturbs me. Like I almost threw up when you were talking about it. Like I'm not being dramatic.
No, hey, John Wick killed a lot of people for a lot less than that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Dude, like, our dogs are the cherished part of our family. I mean, look at Brutus. Look at, our dogs, Cece and Freckles, my old dog, Sydney.
Right.
Like the most cherished animals in our, they're not animals, they're family members.
Right.
Like they're absolute family. And like, I understand in different cultures, people eat different things. And, there's grace in my heart for that. While I don't share that faith or I don't share that culture, I can respect it. There's nothing about torturing an animal in such a way that you can justify anything ethical to me.
I mean, look at what Chuck does with Hero Labradors, and the lives and he restores, and the lives he saves by having those dogs go through, become service dogs. Hey, Beagle could be a service dog too. Probably not.
They absolutely are.
But they could be service. I've seen them be service dogs for like people with epilepsy and stuff like that. I've seen that firsthand. But
they're definitely working dogs. Beagles are come from a long history and legacy of being working dogs.
Right. But to do that, and like I say, it was bad enough to sit there and go, that he did this and tortured these dogs this way. But then when you find out they took the extra step ahead of time because they couldn't handle hearing it to surgically modify the dog so they couldn't even cry. Dude, where's PETA? Because they've been quiet as shit, right? Where's PETA at? Where are they stomping up and down? Where's everyone else on the left? Where's those people who do the videos that play late at night?
Where's Sarah McLachlan?
Yeah, where's Sarah McLachlan? Right? She likes to show all those videos and pictures of dogs in the cages and all that stuff at like 1:00 in the morning, right? Nobody's saying anything, right? It has nothing to do with that's great. He does that for NIH, and it's great if the vaccine's the greatest thing ever, and he invented the damn thing, which he didn't. But that doesn't justify or warrant what he has done. It doesn't mean he's above any. I mean, look, there's no job that makes you above the law. There's no job that makes you above reproach, right? You know, you could be soldiers screw up, police screw up, clergy screws up, right? Nothing protects you from being criticized if you did something wrong. And for this to be almost completely ignored by the media and that kind of stuff is just, again, shows the American people just how biased and just, like you said, fake all that news and all the media is, because they should be running in front of the cameras and say, it's a freaking puppy, right? If you don't love puppies, you don't love America. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many people in America that the puppy is their family.
Right.
God hasn't blessed them with the ability to have kids, so like they have to, give their love to an animal instead of a human. I'm beyond disturbed by that. And again, it's like, how can we as a group or as an institution sit idly by?
Well, look at the ridicule that, I forget his name, the quarterback. You need to remind me who it is, but the quarterback that was Michael Vick, right? Doing had the was doing the dog fighting and all that kind of stuff, right? Man, they canceled him. They canceled the shit out of that dude.
He went to jail.
He went to jail, and got canceled before cancel was a thing. And
last year, the United States Congress passed a law that made animal cruelty a federal felony.
Yes. That's right. Yet the NIH is doing
where's the accountability?
Right.
Why are they not charged?
Yeah, it's
like no one gets a pass, but everybody gets a pass.
Right. I mean, again, you hear all this stuff. You hear of a 15-year-old girl raped in her school by a boy wearing a skirt, and then they just shuffle him down the road to another school where he allegedly just did it again. Right. And you have a president of the school board covering it up. Right. Now the evidence has come out. They had the emails. They knew the day it happened that this girl, I mean, you parents, anyone, you send your kid to school to be safe, right? You look at all the safety procedures they have in place. You have to check in and check out. Your kids just can't leave. Not like when we were in school, right? You could just leave campus and go do whatever. You have all these things in place, and yet you have your daughter, doesn't matter who, daughter or son, right? Your child gets raped at school in the bathroom, and nothing happens. Not only does nothing happen, they cover it up. Again, another example of, am I living in a freaking Twilight Zone? This can't be real, of all this crazy, out of the freaking world stuff that has happened, and people just seem to like not give a damn, or just act like, yeah, this is totally normal. I need to go. I need to go to another country too. I need to go. Is life normal in Mexico?
It seems to be. I mean,
Mexico seems normal.
There's some nuance here. There's some nuance, but I mean, it's not like that. Like not all of Mexico's like here.
That's true. That's
true. There's some nuance to life here, but man, like it is what it is, man.
Right. I mean, I hate to feel, and I feel like sometimes on the last several weeks on the show, we've been on the show that I've just been in a Biden bashing mode. But I mean, I don't know what else what else is there to talk about? I mean, the stuff that's coming out of this administration, the stuff that this government is doing is just, and there's a ton more we haven't hit on, right? There's people he's got nominated up in front to be certain positions, appointed positions. I mean, he took this transgender assistant secretary of the health in Pennsylvania, now have made her an instant admiral in the Surgeon General's office or whatever, and she's in uniform.
Like, I was curious about that. Like,
that's called the ultimate frock.
Like, yeah, like I don't get how that happened, because he's not military, right?
He's not, never been, but they put him in uniform,
whatever,
and they give him some ribbons. I don't know what the ribbons are for. I'm not sure, but
National Service.
yeah, I don't know. I could come up with a couple names, but and I just see that and I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? I mean, it is truly. You've got the son, the drug addict, uh, uh, um, a widowing wife, screwing cocaine, gun throwing away, binge drinking drug addict son, who is now selling his paintings for more than what Picasso paintings are getting, and no one thinks that's wrong, and all the buyers are anonymous. And you have all this evidence against him of how he's used his name, and he's even admitted to use his name to make profit, and no one is batting an eye. And I don't care how they treated the Trump's kids, and you can say, well, if you have Trump kids, it'd be a lot worse. True, it would be. We know. Look, they were ran through the ringer by the left media, unjustified, and they all came out fine on the other end because there was nothing there, even though the media just want to keep going after him. But this is blatant, hard evidence crap happening, and like no one cares. No one cares that he lied on a pistol application form and got a gun when he's a known drug user because he got kicked out of the military for drugs, and all the other stuff he's done. And it's like, he's selling paintings that look like a freaking. I mean, I've seen elephants paint better. Literally, there's elephants that paint with their trunks that look better, and
Yeah,
it's just, I don't know, man. You might be in a better spot by not being watching the news. You may be better just dealing with fish and salt water and fueling up boats and everything else that you got going on. How are things going, by the way? Let's shift topics. How are things going?
Really, really good. Because like, I actually kind of want to share this. I can't stay much longer, but
Yeah, we got
for so long in my adult life, I dealt with people on bad days. In the military, if our paths crossed and you were on the opposing side, you had a bad day. Probably one of the worst days of your life.
If not the last day of your life.
In some cases, yes. When I worked with Soldiers Angels and spent a lot of time at the hospitals, I was dealing with soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines on some of the hardest days of their lives, the hardest days of the lives of their family. And so for so much of my adult life, my life has been focused on bad days. And in most cases, people's worst day. And I felt a little bit of comfort in, being able to serve them. And, I humbly appreciate the opportunity to serve people on their bad days. Since I've been here, I've only interacted and helped serve people on their best days. Like accomplishing lifelong dreams. Today, a guy that's been coming here for 14 years caught his first blue marlin. He's been trying for 14 years religiously, coming down multiple times a year, trying to get this elusive blue marlin. And today he got it. Today is one of the best days of his life. And I got to participate in it. I was one of the first people he saw this morning. And I was one of the first people he saw when he got off the boat. And I got to hear him relive and share in his best day.
That had to be emotional for him with that much time committed, that much time invested.
It got emotional for me. Like,
yeah.
And, it's like this Hemingway moment. And man, like my perspective has really been opened here. And man, I don't ever want to go back to bad days. I want to live out my days helping people, serving people, having their best days. Like I am ready for that for the rest of my days. I really am. And I said earlier, I'm living the dream. I'm living my best life. I absolutely mean it. This is my dream come true since I was a little kid, to be able to fish,
I know.
I used to like play hooky to go fishing. I used to stash a fishing pole on the way to school so I could fish on the way in, or sneak off campus at lunch and try and fish with my buddy. Or we definitely fished on the way home. Or we would, like hammer through our chores and then go fishing.
Right.
Like this is.
And even at VO, right? Even at VO, where you gave a lot of people that had bad days, a great opportunity to have a good day. I know a lot of times you guys still sat around a fire and stuff, and those guys, mostly guys, they'd open up, right? They would open up and talk about those, and those were not comfortable. I'm sure. I know they weren't, right?
No.
I've been in the same situations.
And that's part of my perspective change, because I really thought that I was like being part of their best day then. But to have a great day then, it came with a heavy burden.
Right.
And here, that burden isn't necessarily there. And so it's been really wonderful for me. I'm grateful for everyone that's helped make this a reality for me. God is great.
Yeah.
God is great. So
the only, not to get sentimental, but the only thing I wish, man, I just wish you would have gotten this opportunity while your dad was still here, because
dude,
I know he would be that would have been the ultimate, right? To have been out there with him.
If he was with us, and I feel like he is, because every day something will happen with a boat or with a reel, and it's either something that he taught me or a mentality that he gave me. If I had this sooner, if I had done this sooner and he was still with us and he was here with me, he too would be living his best days. And no one more deserving than him.
Yeah.
So
it just kind of came to my mind, man. But you're right. He's right there with you and all that. So I'm sure he's looking down, smiling, knowing that probably jealous of how lucky you are to be doing that. But hey, we'll let you go. It is getting late. We've done almost an hour, and I know you have some long days, and your day is not over yet. Yeah. So
I gotta go back to work.
Got to go back to work. We're working on some guests, everybody. We got some folks we're looking to line it up for next week. So stay tuned. Be sure to tune back in. Sorry we missed you last week. We just had a lot going on. Neither Toby or I could make it. And so we'll see you guys next week here, 8:00 Eastern, here on Stu and the Nunn. Toby, any final words?
That's it.
All right.
Love everybody.
All right, everybody. Everybody, we wish you all a good night and have a happy and safe Halloween, and all that kind of good stuff. Whatever you do, and
shout out. Halloween's also my youngest birthday, so shout out to my youngest, my spawn.
Yep. I didn't know she was born on Halloween. Wow.
Yeah, no, Halloween. So she's my spooky spawn. She's my cool one, my creepy crawly. So shout out to her. Shout out for the birthday there.
Hopefully you get a chance to talk to her on her birthday. I'm hoping.
Oh, for sure.
All right, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you all next week, 8:00 Eastern, here on Stu and the Nunn. Peace. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Stu and the Nunn Show, and we hope you had as much fun listening to it as we did hosting it for you. Don't forget to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. You can find all these links at stewandthenunn.com. We will talk to you again next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Also, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Commodity Outdoors, Veteran Outdoors, Enlisted 9 Fight Company, Warrior Media Solutions, and BooHammer.com. Thank you again, and have a good night.